I used to think I knew everything about friendship. The late-night talks, the trust that bound us, the shared memories that only we understood. My best friend, Amanda, and I were inseparable. Or so I thought. But what I never expected was the dark truth lurking beneath the surface. It all started innocently enough. But nothing ever stays innocent forever, does it? Before we begin, if you've been enjoying these stories, please hit like and subscribe. It helps more than you know, and if this is your first time here, I'm really glad you found this. I hope you enjoy it and come back for more. Let's begin. We met in college. I was new, alone, and struggling to fit in. Amanda appeared at the right time. She was warm, kind, and full of life. Her laugh was contagious, and the way she always had my back made me feel like I'd found a sister in her. We spent hours together, watching movies, talking about our dreams, sharing our deepest secrets. It was the kind of friendship that you thought would last a lifetime. But soon, little things started to feel off. It started with small comments, questions that made me feel watched. She'd ask about things I had only told one person. She'd mention things I hadn't even shared with her, like the private thoughts I had written in my journal. I brushed it off, at first. Thought maybe it was just coincidence. But the questions grew more specific. Why had I changed my plans the other day? Who was I meeting at the coffee shop? It felt like she knew more about my life than she should. It wasn't until one night when everything unraveled. I was in my room, scrolling through my phone when I noticed a strange message, an encrypted email that was clearly not meant for me. The subject line read, "Report on target's emotional status, Amanda." My heart sank as I clicked open the email. There it was in black and white, Amanda's name, my name, and a series of details about me that no one should know. The way I'd been feeling recently, the arguments I'd had with my boyfriend, even the anxiety I'd been struggling with in silence. I felt a cold wave of panic wash over me. Was this a mistake? Was someone pretending to be Amanda? But no, the email was clear, she had been gathering information on me. And someone was paying her for it. I confronted her the next day. My hands were trembling, my mind racing. I asked her straight out. "What is this? Why are you spying on me?" She looked at me, her eyes wide with shock, but it wasn't genuine. I could see the guilt behind them, the hesitation in her voice as she said, "I don't know what you're talking about." But I wasn't fooled. She'd been caught, and the wall she'd built around her crumbled. She finally broke down. The truth came pouring out, and it felt like everything I knew shattered in an instant. She had been paid. Paid to spy on me, to gather information about my personal life, my relationships, my vulnerabilities. And all of it had been orchestrated by someone I never expected. I thought Amanda had betrayed me. But the truth was worse. She wasn't the mastermind. She was just a pawn. The person who had been pulling the strings was someone much closer to me than I ever imagined. It was my own boyfriend, Mark. The man I had been dating for over a year. The one I trusted with my heart. He had paid Amanda to spy on me, to gather information on me for reasons I didn't yet understand. When I confronted him, the look in his eyes was one of fear and guilt, but also, something darker. He confessed to everything. His reasons weren't what I thought they'd be. It wasn't jealousy, nor was it about protecting me. No, it was something far worse. He'd been hiding secrets of his own, things he didn't want me to find out. It was as though my entire world had been built on a lie. My best friend, my boyfriend, everything I thought was real, gone in an instant. The betrayal was unbearable, but the worst part? The fact that Amanda and Mark had both believed I'd never find out. They were counting on me being blind to the truth. But here's where the story turns. I could have let this destroy me. I could have stayed angry, stayed hurt, and held on to the pain forever. But what they didn't know was that I was stronger than they gave me credit for. And when everything fell apart, I didn't fall with it. I cut ties with both of them. I walked away from the relationship, and I walked away from the friendship. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but it was also the best thing. I learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes, the people closest to us are the ones who can hurt us the most. But that doesn't mean we have to let them. I rebuilt myself. I found new friends, real friends who valued honesty. I found peace in knowing that I could trust myself, even when others let me down. It's been a while now. I'm not bitter. I'm not angry. I'm stronger, and I'm wiser. Amanda and Mark? They tried to reach out, tried to apologize, but it was too late. I'd already moved on. I knew who I was now, and that was enough. Betrayal hurts, but it doesn't define you. I'm living proof that even when the people you trust the most turn on you, you can rise above it. And in the end, you'll be the one who comes out stronger. Some nights, the memories still haunt me. I'll wake up with a start, heart racing, hearing Amanda's laughter in my mind or Mark's promises that turn to lies. Betrayal doesn't just break your heart, it fractures your trust in people, in yourself, in your ability to judge right from wrong. It's like learning how to walk again after someone cut you at the knees. But here's the thing they never tell you, healing doesn't happen all at once. It's slow. It's painful. But it's worth it. I started small. I forgave myself first, not them. Myself. Forgave myself for missing the signs. For believing in people who didn't deserve my loyalty. For giving too many chances to those who were only there for their own gain. It wasn't easy. Every instinct told me to close myself off forever. To never let anyone close again. But I realized something important, building walls only keeps the pain in, it doesn't keep the hurt out. Slowly, I let new people into my life. Real friends, the kind who didn't want anything from me except my company. Real love, the kind that doesn't need to control you to feel secure. I learned to listen more closely, to actions, not just words. I learned that true friends don't need to know everything about you to love you, they just support you with open arms. I learned that trust is earned slowly, not handed out like a gift. One day, I saw Amanda again. Pure chance. She looked different. Tired. Guilty. She started to approach me in the parking lot of a grocery store. Maybe to apologize. Maybe to explain. But I didn't need it anymore. I smiled, not out of anger or spite, but out of freedom, and walked right past her. Because closure doesn't come from their apology. It comes from your decision to stop needing it. Today, I live my life unburdened by their betrayal. I write, I travel, I laugh with friends who have earned a place in my world. I'm not defined by who hurt me. I'm defined by how I rose after the fall. They may have stolen a chapter of my life. But I'm the one who's writing the ending. Healing didn't mean forgetting. It meant remembering without the weight. It meant looking back and seeing the lesson, not just the loss. 2 years after it all, my life looks nothing like I ever imagined. But strangely, it's better than I dared hope. I live in a small sunlit house surrounded by wildflowers, near people who choose me not for what they can get, but for who I am. I work from my cozy little office, writing, telling stories like this. Stories of pain, but more importantly, stories of survival. And yes, I found love again. Not the kind that burns you out with wild promises. Not the kind that demands you be smaller so they can feel bigger. But the quiet, steady kind that says, I'll walk beside you. No matter how rocky the path gets. His name is Daniel. He wasn't loud or flashy. He didn't sweep me off my feet. He held out his hand, and waited. Patiently. It took months before I trusted him enough to let him really see me. But when I finally did, he stayed. I thought I had closed that chapter. Until one rainy afternoon, as Daniel and I sat in a little coffee shop laughing over nothing. I looked up, and there she was. Amanda. Older now. Harsher somehow. And sitting across from her, was Mark. My stomach twisted. Not from fear, not from longing. But from something deeper, pity. They hadn't moved on. They were still together, still circling each other in a toxic dance of lies and manipulation. Amanda caught my eye. For a second, it looked like she might come over. Daniel squeezed my hand under the table. His calm, steady presence reminded me I wasn't that girl anymore. I smiled politely, turned back to my coffee, and never looked back. Seeing them again didn't break me. It didn't even hurt. It just reminded me of just how far I had come. How much I had grown and how little power they ever really had over me. They were stuck in the past. I was living in a future I built with my own two hands. Healing isn't about pretending the hurt never happened. It's about refusing to let it define who you are. I didn't just survive their betrayal. I didn't just rebuild my life. I reclaimed it. On my terms. In my time. And in the end, I realized something beautiful. They didn't steal anything from me. They only cleared the path for something so much better. Something real. If you're walking through betrayal right now, if your heart is heavy and your trust is broken, I want you to remember this: you will survive. And not just survive, you will thrive. You will rise stronger, wiser, more beautifully broken open to the world, because you are stronger than the people who tried to tear you down. You are braver than the voices that tried to silence you. You are worth more than the lies you were told. And someday, when you least expect it, you'll look back and realize the betrayal didn't end your story. It began a much better one. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Never let someone else write it for you. Until next time, stay strong, stay kind, and stay true to yourself.